I used to spend most of my day procrastinating, struggling to stay focused or motivated, especially on important but challenging tasks like writing and creating videos such as this one. But over the years, I paid close attention to what habits and tools worked, what didn't, and optimized my systems along the way. And today I'm sharing with you a simple daily workflow that allows me to stay productive and accomplish more in a day than what I used to get done in an entire week. I've stripped the whole system down to the essentials, keeping only the core components. So whether you're new to productivity or a seasoned veteran tired of complex systems that have blown up, this video will be a valuable investment of your time. So this is what you'll learn. First, we'll discuss the critical factor that determines the success of your productivity system. Even if you followed all the advice and optimized to the highest level, if your systems don't have this main goal in mind, nothing will work. Next, we'll explore the two main things you need to keep track of for having productive days that might stack up into productive weeks, months, and years. And finally, we'll dive into the Trifecta method for daily planning, where we'll get into the nitty-gritty and the specifics of this daily workflow. I'm Fran, a certified coach in high performance, integrative nutrition, and neuroscience-based productivity. I was trained by the world's leading experts in each field, and in this channel we explore how to take our mind, energy, and productivity to the highest level. Now, if you go out there and try to figure out why productivity systems work, you realize that the best productivity systems, like GTD for instance, share a common goal that's based on our biology and not on our personality. And what I mean by this is that we all have different personalities, activities, roles, lifestyles, and ways of thinking. So what works for one person might not work for another. In fact, it most probably won't work for the other person. However, we all share the same human biology. So systems that are based on optimizing our biology for focus will scale and will work for everyone if implemented correctly. And this biological based goal these effective systems have in common is that they all strive to lower cognitive load, which is the amount of information our brain holds in working memory at any given moment. If you're watching this video, you'll most likely have come across this quote by David Allen that says that our brain is for having ideas, not for holding them. And cognitive load is the reason why this quote is so powerful. An effective productivity system is the one that minimizes the things you need to remember and clarifies what you actually need to focus on. Of course, the system I'll show you today is a biological based system with that end goal in mind as well. So to have productive days, you need to track two main things: events and tasks. An event is anything that needs to be done at a specific time, such as meetings, appointments, but also exercise classes and morning routines and family time. On the other hand, tasks are things that need to get done but can be completed at any time, anywhere. For instance, working on certain projects and studying for certain exams and all of that. The Trifecta system, which is how I called the daily workflow we are going through in this video, tracks events and tasks separately using different tools, and then we merge both of them into one. We'll first look at events, which take up significant cognitive load when they are not in a trusted system due to commitments with others or specific time. The tool we use for this is a digital calendar, right? We use it for events, meetings, appointments, and also for scheduling things like exercise, lunch, dinner, sleep, and family time. This might not be 100% non-negotiable commitments in the hour that you are allocating for each, but committing to this in specific times will prevent work from taking over your entire day. However, you also want to avoid the trap of time blocking tasks or time blocking your whole day. Like, if you want to try it, go be my guest, but it just doesn't work. We are terrible at estimating how much a task will take, and there is always something that overruns. There is always something that gets in the way. You know, you might schedule like focus time to protect it from other commitments, but I wouldn't go beyond that, at least initially when you are setting these things up. You want to add time blocks only if they are 100% necessary, and also you want to differentiate them from the non-negotiable commitments using a different color. So for instance, if I have a meeting at 3 p.m. that will be a red time block in my calendar, whereas if I schedule some focus time in the morning, it would be green. I know that if something comes up, I have the possibility to move that time block elsewhere, whereas of course the red ones, they are just they are non-negotiable. Now, there is another reason that we don't want to overload our calendar with time blocks, which is that research shows that when we have many recurring time blocks in our calendar, we tend to ignore them, which kills basically the most important tool in our productivity stack, which is the calendar. Now, if you are not using a digital calendar, whether that's because you've never actually took the time to set it up, or because you've fallen in the trap of setting up hundreds of time blocks and then ignoring everything, it is the number one thing you need to implement right away. It is a super low hanging fruit that can literally double your productivity and halve your cognitive load. Now, if you want to further reduce cognitive load, you need to review your calendar at the end of each day and set alarms for the following day's event. For example, if I were to have that meeting at 3 p.m., I would set up an alarm for 15 minutes earlier to give myself some buffer time before the meeting starts. This simple habit will make a massive difference in your daily life, and these are the things that show the importance of knowing the why behind the what and the how. We know that the main goal is to reduce cognitive load. So just as I came up with the idea of setting alarms, you'll also find ways to optimize your systems that actually work because they are aligned with this end goal of reducing cognitive load. Now, the second part of the Trifecta system is tasks. And for managing tasks, we use a task manager. I recommend Todoist. It is something simple that works seamlessly across devices and allows you to quickly capture tasks, which is crucial for lowering cognitive load as well. I know lots of you might be Notion fans, so if you prefer to use a Notion, I have an old video on how to create a task management system with it, and I'll leave the link in the description below. But the most important thing to emphasize here is that a task manager is not a project manager. And as we've mentioned at the very beginning, we are only taking a look at the foundational stuff every single productivity system should have. So at least for now, and until you are staying on top of your events and tasks, you don't need to worry about project management or note-taking or all of that stuff, because although these are useful, they aren't 100% necessary to start being much more productive than you currently are. What you actually need is a solid foundation, which hopefully you'll be getting from the Trifecta system, and you also need to cultivate focus habits that allow you to get things done. And if you want more information on my Todoist setup and a step-by-step guide on how to implement the Trifecta system, you can sign up for the free mini course I'll leave in the description. It also covers the workflow in greater detail, from like capturing, processing to the doing and reflecting, plus how to time block if that's your thing, and habits and routine to maintain and enhance the system. It is 100% free. You have nothing to lose, but there are lots of stuff in there that would not necessarily fit in a YouTube video. So if it sounds useful or valuable in any way, you'll have the link in there. Now, the tip of the Trifecta system triangle is your daily plan, which combines events and tasks. And the tool we are using for this is just the mighty pen and paper. I use a bullet journal for this, but you can use whatever works for you. So this is how you would do it. In the evening, you will review your calendars for next day's events, and you write them down using circles, and you set alarms for each, as we talked about. Then you go to your upcoming view in Todoist, or the tomorrow's focus filter if you've taken the mini course, and you transfer to your bullet journal no more than 10 tasks. I usually keep mine around 5 to 7, and you would order them also by the time you want to get them done. So for the first task you want to get done in your day, you would put a 1, then a 2, 3, 4, and so forth. And the goal here is to work in a linear processing way. You finish what you start before moving on to the next. We've talked a lot about the reason why we want to operate in this way in a video which I'll leave somewhere in the screen right now. But if a task is huge, right, and could fill your entire day, something like work on X project or study for X exam, you have the option to either make it more specific, so study 10 pages of this course book, or put a time limit, like work on X project for 60 minutes. At the end of each day, before planning the next day, you'll review what got done and migrate unfinished but still relevant tasks to tomorrow or a future day. You might want to do this in Todoist while you also process your inbox, where you've hopefully captured tasks and thoughts throughout the day, and you create your first version of your day in your task manager, and then craft your plan for the day in the bullet journal, looking at both the calendar, the to-do list. But having a solid system is important. How you operate that system is even more crucial, and that's where focus rituals come into play. You want to build habits that help you stay productive even if your system falls apart or or even if you are transitioning between one productivity system to the other. In the next video in the channel, we'll cover the critical habits that enhance the system and help you stay hyper-focused throughout the day. And if you are watching this video a few weeks after the published date, the link will be in the description just below the one for the mini course. So the truth is that you don't need super optimized and complex systems. You need focus habits, you need solid foundations, which are the ones we covered in this video, and you'll already have what it takes to be more productive than 95% of the people out there. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you either in the mini course or in the video that I've linked below.